what you have to do in these situations is this is kind of like a retail situation, right? Because there's no way to force the hand if they're already getting the depreciation. And they're right. If they have all the money, they can shop around for bids. So what do you think the next logical step would be for you?
Give them a bid. I mean, at this point.
Yes, but not just that. It's you have to shift into retail salesperson. And that's harder. And a lot of people don't know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
You actually have to sell yourself now. So what happens is a lot of salespeople just rely on the price. They're like, well, I hope my price is low enough. And then they give them a bid and they walk away. Is that good or bad sales skills?
Bad.
Shitty. Yeah, it's not good, right? Your job is a good salesperson might be the most expensive one, but they're so good at their job, the person's like, well, yes. Yeah, you're not the cheapest one, but I'm going to go with you. How many times do you hear that story?
Okay, so at that point, it's just you rather work with me than some asshole that's never going to answer your phone call,
Right.
even though he's cheaper, but he's a complete dick to you.
Yes.
Me, on the other hand, I always answer my phone. I'm always there for you. Any questions you have, I don't make you feel like a piece of shit for asking me all these questions.
Right. Well, and Sammy, so take notes on this because you're going to love it. This is my favorite way to close a retail job. So I first I crack a joke and I go, so Mrs. Jones, you're in an interesting position here because normally what they do is they withhold depreciation and that kind of forces us to go line by line with Exactimate and yada, 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 talk about the insurance process. You say, but since you have your money here in your hands, the next logical step for most homeowners is what? Go bid shopping. But let me ask you a question, Mrs. Jones. What are your 3 top favorite hobbies? What do you like to do in your spare time? And then they'll say whatever. Oh, spend time with the grandkids, garden, go for walks. Cool. So I didn't hear you say meeting with stinky, sweaty contractors during dinner hour every every weeknight of the week, right? And then they laugh, right? You're like, you go, so here's the deal. I understand that choosing a contractor can be tricky, and unfortunately, a lot of people make it come down to just the price, and that's usually the worst way to go. The roof is like the best, most important part of your house. There's 2 most important parts: the foundation, which holds everything up, and the roof, which protects everything underneath of it. So, if you were going to go and get surgery on your cabeza, are you going to go and find like the cheapest surgeon out there? Hell
That's
no.
actually an example that I use. Like, you need surgery, are you going to go bid shopping to see, which guy will do it in the back of a Jiffy Lube?
Right.
I mean,
right. So we're gonna keep rolling with this, and we're like, so price is not the only thing that we should look at. And of course, you've got contractors that charge an arm and a leg that are up here. You've got contractors that operate out of their van down by the river that don't have insurance, and they dump their debris in the creek, and their price is way down here. And then you have everybody in between. Okay. And by the way, if you have it'd be a good idea. You can Google them if you want, but look up pictures of shitty roofing jobs where people have, like, there's a famous picture of some roofers doing an inspection. He lifts up the turtle vent and it's just shingles underneath. There's nothing held into it. Right? So you can look at that, or just like, there's all kinds of really shitty like workmanship examples out there, and you can go, this is the better price, right? So, and Mrs. Jones, I'm not trying to scare you or anything like that, but it's something to think about when you go price shopping for arguably one of the most important parts of your house, okay? So, Mrs. Jones, let me ask you a question. How much, and it's not a trick question, just give me what comes to mind. How much is a cheeseburger? And actually, I'll ask you, Sammy, how much is a cheeseburger?
$3, $4.
Okay, where?
Go to McDonald's, anywhere fast food.
Okay, so what if you go to like a really nice steak restaurant though that has grass-fed, Angus, sustainably sourced, gluten-free? Okay, that might be like what, $20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
And then you might go to In-N-Out and it's maybe like $5 or $6. And then you go to Applebee's, it might be $8. And McDonald's, you can literally get a cheeseburger for 99 cents. Okay. So what's the difference? Quality and experience. Okay. And you're going to take a nice date to go get a 99-cent cheeseburger in McDonald's?
Probably that's actually a really good example.
Okay. So the quality, you can spend $20 on a cheeseburger at Ruth's Chris. Okay. And that might be grass-fed, sustainably sourced with a brioche bun and like real aged American cheddar. Then you might go to McDonald's and get the 99-cent burger that the stone kid in the back of the McDonald's made, and Lord knows what's in it. It's mystery meat, grade D dog food style. And then you might go to like Applebee's or Chili's or TGI Fridays and you get something kind of in between, okay? So even though they're all cheeseburgers, they're not all created equal. Agreed?
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Jones, what I'm trying to explain to you here is a lot of times people look at the roof and they just think, it's the same roof. Why is this person quoting me $12,000? This person's quoting me $9,000. The other person's quoting me $7,000. Well, they're not all the same. There's different quality shingles. There's a lot of roofers just cut corners and they go back with the same accessories that are on the roof. They use the same old flashings. They use the same old drip edge, right? Or maybe they're not using synthetic felt, or maybe they don't have proper insurance, so their overhead is not so high. There's a lot of different things that go into it. Does that make sense? And so you're getting them to get their wheels turning. So then what you want to say is like, so Mrs. Jones, here's the thing. I want to save you a ton of time, and I really want to just put my best foot forward and show you that I am the person that can handle this whole thing start to finish and make it done for you as quickly as humanly possible. And here's what I'm going to do. So instead of you having to go and set up a bunch of appointments with other contractors and have their stinky, dirty boots in your house, and half of them don't even show up because that's what contractors are notorious for, most people go and they get what? 3 bids, right? So I'm going to give you 3 bids, and I'm going to give you a good, better, best. I'm going to show you exactly why the prices are. I'm going to be 100% transparent. I'm going to show you exactly why the prices are what they are and what the differences would be. And then you can pick the one that feels the most fair to you. How does that sound? And then you literally give her, be super transparent. And by the way, if you want to really kick this up a notch, there's a software called Sumo Quote. And it's like a quote builder, like an instant quote builder. It's software, and so you can literally create on there with the customer, like show them all the line items, and you can toggle, push buttons for on and off, and you can make good, better, best. It's actually really, really slick, so it's something to check out if you want to. But so you can show her and go, all right, so let's start with good, okay? Good, casual 3-tab shingle. We don't really put these on very often, but it's the cheapest one. Here's what it looks like. There's a lot of houses out here that have it. It's not a bad shingle. It's got a wind rating of, 60, 65 miles per hour, blah, blah, blah. And then you show her we can use the same vents that you have back up. We could put the same vents that you have up there, yada, yada. Then you go into better. Okay, Mrs. Jones, we've got the 30-year architectural. This is pretty common. This is like the standard sort of, like, it's not the best shingle, but it's not like a 3-tab. And we're going to put in all brand new accessories, stuff like that. We'll use a synthetic felt. So that's what this price is going to be. Now, the best option I can give you is, and maybe this is an impact resistant or a lifetime shingle or something like that. Okay. Here's this shingle. I'd actually recommend changing the ventilation. It's going to give you a lot better energy rating on your house. I'd like to really cut in some ridge vent instead of just having these 3 box vents here. And you can do a little diagram and show her why the airflow in her roof isn't, I'm using just hypotheticals here, but show her why the ventilation isn't up to par. Here's what I'd really recommend doing. So it costs a little bit extra, of course, to do that, but we have enough money within the insurance claim to do so. So blah, blah, blah. Here's what it would be. So between these 3 options, which one do you feel like makes the best sense? And then just let her pick.
Okay.
And then you say, Mrs. Jones, I'd rather you spend your hours for the rest of the coming months gardening, playing with your grandkids, and going for walks, okay, in the evening. Why don't we just get this one started? Looks like your insurance check will probably cover it. We should be good to go. Why don't we just get this moving so you can be good and done with it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.